My guests today, Ice-T and Ernie C of Body Count. Welcome to Rockline, you guys.
How you doing?
So, you just finished a tour of how many shows in how many days?
We did 81 shows in 84 days, so we going like sometimes a month and a half without a day off.
How do you manage that? I do this show once a week, I'm exhausted. How do you do that?
It's like every night when we get to the different venues, the crowd is so hyped, you know, it just gets you going. And like, I can still remember when I couldn't do a show, so every time I get up, they wake me up, it's showtime, I'm like, oh, go away. Then I hear like Grease popping, a Jack in the Box, or real work, and all right, showtime, and I'm on the stage and getting no problem, really.
That's funny. Well, we have a whole bunch of phone calls ready to go. We're going to jump right into it, and we'll start off with Paul, who is calling from Sacramento, California. Paul, you are our first caller today. What's your question?
Yeah, I have two quick questions. First, who were Ernie C's major influences? And second, what gave the idea for Body Count to form?
Well, my major influences, what started me to listen to rock and roll was like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, you know, and the guitar influences like Jeff Beck and, you know, all your English guys, you know, your not Steve Vai, but just your English guitar players. And the idea for Body Count, you can talk to Ice about that.
Why you say not Steve Vai, though?
Well,
you like Steve Vai.
I know I like Steve Vai, but he's not English, so, you know.
When you say that, people think you don't like Steve Vai.
Oh, I
You're
love
talking
Steve
about Steve Vai.
I love Steve Vai. You know, I got his new album. I know every song
I think
on
what
it.
you're saying is that he's more recent and your influences
Yeah, he's
were
like the, you know, Satriani's. That's
You don't
all
want Steve
new.
Vai creeping around on our shows trying to break your guitar.
We want him to come to the show if he wants to, but, you know, we don't creep it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Now that where we got the idea for the group is these are the guys that have been playing on my rap albums up to now. Ernie would play live guitar, Moose bass, and Beatmaster V, and all the other guys on the records. And when I was doing my OG album, they would come in and complain. Ice, man, I was trying to be in this band. They wouldn't let me play. They wouldn't let me do this. They wanted me to wear spandex. And I was like, oh, wow. So we just decided, I said, look, we got enough people right here. Why don't we make our own band? So, and everybody said, well, who's going to sing? And I'm like, me? So we just put it together, and we went out on tour. First, we got banned in Los Angeles, which made us feel, hey, we're good.
What happened that happened?
Too many people for a new band. It was like, you know, the word got out that there was Ice-T in the band, so you were getting my crowd showing up to small venues that are used to only handling 500 people. So, you know, the LA Sheriff's Department said, no, this band can't play. So that's like, we're good. And we went on tour with DRI and played with the Real Thrash audience, and we said, we got something here. And that's how it started.
Okay, so thank you, Paul. That was a good question. And now we're going to go down to DALEVILLE, Alabama, where Jerry's calling in. Hi, Jerry. What's your question today?
Hi. I just want to say the Body Count is really great. And I'd like to know if there have been any negative attitudes towards you for having a metal band and being a rap artist at the same time.
We expected a lot of resistance when we put the group together. I said, I initially figured people would say, well, Ice-T is going to get up on the stage and pose, you know, he's going to try to get money by doing this type of music. But once you watch the group, by the second song, you realize that we're dead serious about this. And I think anybody who walks into a show with any negative attitude leaves, like we call them statistics. We're like, yeah, nah, on with the Body Count. And as far as from the rap community, no, because I feel a true Ice-T fan is down with me regardless of what I do, whether I act or rap or decide to do something else. If you're really my fan, then you're just with me in my ventures. If you're not my fan and you don't like it, then, you know, who needs you? You know, basically, that's how I feel about it.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. And we're going to move over to Wichita, Kansas, and speak with Dustin. Dustin, are you there?
Yeah. Ice-T, you perform rap and metal. Which do you prefer, metal or rap?
I like them both. I can't really pick which I prefer. I make rap, but I would listen to metal in order to get the energy to make my rap. When I would go in and cut my albums, I'm listening to lots of punk music like Minor Threat and real fast rock like Slayer, you know, in order to get that anger. I like them both. Right now, between the rap, the rock, and the acting is like a juggling act. I would feel just as bad if any of them fell, you know. I mean, I don't want the rap to go out. I don't want my rock band to go out, and I like to keep making movies. So it's like it's like asking somebody who has 3 children which one is his favorite kid, you know. It's like I like them all, and hopefully I can keep doing them.
It's good that you have the same guys that you play with in both styles, because if you had 2 different bands, then each band might be sort of hoping that your other style didn't take off and leave them in the dust, but you have them with you.
Yeah, it's all friends. These guys went to Crenshaw High School with me, and when I first met Ernie, he was doing, like, playing Peter Frampton in Crenshaw High School's multi-purpose room in front of 200 gangbangers. What was that like?
Yeah, they didn't know what was going on, because I was listening to Aerosmith and playing all that stuff, going to an all-black school. So they were like,
how is it that you found yourself going in that direction?
It was just, you know, being a guitarist, it had more room for expression, you know what I mean? You could play solos and play loud, and it was cooler than playing rhythms, I thought. So that's
how did you start playing the guitar?
Well, just, you know, just something to do, you know. Yeah, I was the only child, so I was at home by myself. I had a guitar laying around, picked it up, liked it, kept on doing it, got influenced by people listening to different music, said, this is cool. I thought I was going to play like B.B. King the first day, but I figured out I had to practice. So.
Did you happen to see The Simpsons the other day when Bart was learning to play the guitar?
Yeah, I did.
It was pretty funny.
It's a lot harder than you think.
Okay, Dustin, thank you for calling, and now we have Darren on the line from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Darren, welcome to the show, and what's your question?
Thanks a lot. I was just wondering, you know, I really liked what you're doing, breaking down the barriers and stuff between rock and rap and stuff, and I was wondering, I heard in a magazine like a couple of years back that you were into Guns N' Roses and they were into you, and you were maybe going to do a cover of Welcome to the Jungle. I was wondering if there was any truth to that or not.
Well, back in the day, when we tried to do it, yeah, I had actually written the rap, and it was more like Welcome to South Central, but it was Welcome to the Jungle, my jungle that I live in. And at the time, they told us we couldn't do it because Axl was supposed to be remaking the record. But last year, we got the okay. Axl was like, okay, let's do it. But then both of our schedules were moving so crazy, we never got around to do it. It wasn't like I was just going to do a Guns N' Roses record to do it. I wanted to do it because I liked the record. So people say, oh, you got that chance, you should have jumped on it. But that really wasn't, just by him saying it was cool enough for me. But Duff came in and hung out this entire, while we were making this album. Duff probably is the biggest Body Count fan on earth. I think he even has a Body Count tattoo on him. So we're like, by getting respect from certain groups like that, it just gives you the courage and the ability to move forward, you know, and bypass anything you might run into negative, you know.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Ice-T and Ernie C of Body Count. Call us up. The toll-free number is 1-800-344-ROCK, and that's 344-7625. We will be back. Welcome back. It's Rockline on MTV, and my guests today are Ernie C and Ice-T from Body Count. If you have a question, our number, and it's toll-free, is 1-800-344-ROCK. We just saw a piece of your video. How do you like making videos? What was it like? Was it fun for you doing it?
Well, that video was the easiest video in the world to make, because Matt Mahorn did it, and it was like, it was real easy. He was easy to work with. We just went down to Compton, filmed it. Ice came in later, and what did you do?
Screamed, yelled, jumped around, made faces,
right,
and came out dope. Matt's cool, you know what I'm saying? He had the whole, like he and I worked together on the concept, because I usually direct videos, but then on this one I said I don't want to direct it.
How did you pick Matt? Because he's the guy who did Silent Lucidity by Queensryche.
Yeah, and Metallica. I just liked, you know, his style, you know. I said I wanted to do a performance video without performing, not really the traditional, you know, new group. You want to be very vain and show yourself, oh, let's look how pretty we look. I said, we want to look ugly. We don't want to look, you know, no makeup people on set. Let's just go and do a nice, cringy, dirty video. He said, easy. So he cut it and it came off. And it says a lot, too. You know, it's lots of little symbolic things going in there, like the burning guitar at the end and stuff. So we wanted to do a video that was aggressive, but then one that you would want to ban but couldn't ban because you really couldn't find something in there worth that you could say you're banning it about. So work that edge.
Are you pleased with how it came out? We're sitting here talking with Ice and Ernie. You can call us up, it's toll free, and we got Kurt on the line from New York, New York. Kurt, what's your question?
Oh, guys, I gotta say I really love the record, and I dig the message that you have and the humor that you have in the album sometimes. And more than anything, I appreciate the musicianship. But the question I have is, in light of the Judas Priest trial that went on about a year and a half ago, when the kids committed suicide and the parents sued. The question I have is, I think everyone should be responsible for their actions, but how would you react to a 14-year-old kid who listens to the song Cop Killer and went out and shot a cop as a result of it and went back and said, oh, I did it because, body count said to?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, you have to deal with stable people. With my music, I say a lot of things, even in the rap, that shouldn't be taken too seriously. It's the same problem if a kid watching the Terminator and deciding he wants to, idolize the robot and go in and do a club or something. Hopefully everybody can take this record with a grain of salt. If a kid were to do that, then I'd deal with that situation when it came up. But hopefully if anybody's out there watching, don't go shoot no police, and don't kill your mother. It's a record, dude, Basically, these are characters. The cop killer, he's a fantasy character who's decided that he could not take police brutality any longer, and he's gone out and he's on a little mission. And the kid in Mama's Gotta Die Tonight does his mom's, And these records have been done before, different ways. I think the whole theory of the record is just to show how angry I am with the situation and maybe taking it to the final step. But if you can just maintain some of the anger without taking the entire step out, you'll get the point across, you know what I'm saying? I always thought when I did Mama's Gotta Die Tonight, I imagined some parents listening to it through the door upstairs, like listening to their kid bumping it and like, listen, Martha. And then, one of two things are gonna happen. Maybe their parents will start acting right though, Maybe hopefully that's what happens.
You have kids, right?
Yeah.
Ernie, do you?
Yeah.
And do you think about that? Like, how do you think that you'll deal with that? Well, I think your kid, one is in
my little girl's 13. She listens to everything, the nasty records, everything. She said, my daddy make them nasty records, But, the world is out there. The world is not rated R, it's rated X. The characters you see in Body Count, if you don't hear it on the record, you're going to bump into them in an alley one night, So you can't put blinders on life. Life is out there, and it's real raw, and it's hard. And
may as well be exposed to it in a stable environment.
You're going to be exposed to it one day, sooner or later.
Kurt, did you have another question? Kurt?
Quick question. Another song on the record called The Winner Loses, it has to deal with someone who's got a problem with crack and, doing too much cocaine. And I'm just curious, was that about someone you specifically knew that, you've been worried about, or is it just a general, character you made up?
No, I wrote the song. It was about a friend of mine, but we took it all the way to the extreme, to the end where he died.
He hasn't died yet.
He hasn't died yet, but, it could happen any minute. But, that song was written, it's a true song, true to life.
Okay, Kurt, thank you for the call. And we have Kent waiting to speak on the line today from Grand Junction, Colorado. Hey, Kent, what's on your mind?
First of all, I wanted to say that you guys really make some rockin' music, and my question is, I wanted to know how you came up with the name Body Count for your band.
Well, we were trying to come up with a name that meant black kids, and on Sunday, the news in LA comes on and they say, 15 youths killed this weekend in gang homicides, now sports. It's like, it's like a body count. It comes on every weekend. You can watch Channel 7 Eyewitness News and they give the weekend murder statistics. And I said, wow, I guess that's what I am. I'm just a number. I mean, it's not like we're going to investigate any of these murders or anything. And also it meant how many bands we had to annihilate before we got our full respect, because I knew we were going to have to go out there to battle. It also means how many kids get wasted in the pit, I mean, every time a kid comes up and shows me like a little, I'm like, yeah, on with the body count. It also means how many non-believers we can turn into believers. We call those statistics. And then it has another little underground meaning about how many girls they get backstage, but we'll move on from that one like that. But it means a lot of things, but it's a body count.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Rockline on MTV. Today's guests are Ice-T, Ernie C from Body Count. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Rockline on MTV. If you have a question, there's still a little bit of time left to speak with Body Count, and our toll-free number is 1-800-344-ROCK, and that's 344-7625. If your call gets on the air, you'll receive a box of 10 Sony UX Turbo audio tapes designed to stand the heat of your car's interior, even on a hot summer day, only from Sony Recording Media. Let's take a look at the album. We'll show it on the monitor any second now. Is it up? There it is. Now, it seems like the album would be called Cop Killer, because it seems like that's what the graphic is. Coincidence?
No, the album was titled Cop Killer, but then when we were getting ready to drop the record, they said there was going to be problems with putting it in stores and putting it in places. If you named the album this title, people wouldn't want to carry it, you know, things like that. So I was like, well, what we'll do is we won't change the artwork. We'll just call the album Body Count. And it still reads Body Count Cop Killer. I mean, people really reacted hard to that. It's like if I was saying God Killer or something. I mean, I hold cops just like postmen and plumbers. They're public servants. I don't know what the difference is. There have been records out called Psycho Killer and Night Stalker and stuff, but this record really bothered people, so. This was a tattoo on a guy who's in penitentiary that I saw. And so that's a rendition of somebody I saw in the pen chest.
So it seems like you sort of compromised, but it didn't really have to, you just took it off the spine, it seems.
It's kind of like the art of being hardcore. Sometimes you gotta seem like you're compromising and still get your way. You don't want to compromise your life, though, you know. The name of the album is Cop Killer, all right? Now, regardless of what they want to call it, we know it, you know.
Okay, well, this is our last segment, so we're going to burn through the calls, and we'll start with you, Jamal, calling from State College, Pennsylvania. What's your question?
Hey, how you doing, Ice? I remember seeing you in the movie Breaking a long time ago, and realized it was like, seemed to be a while before you came out with an album.
God, please don't die on the show.
If you found it real difficult to break into the industry and get like a record contract.
Yeah, Breaking was done about 6 years ago. That was when I was in my form of what I call musical prostitution, where everybody has to do what you got to do to get into the business. But it took a little while. Finally, I got a record deal. Unfortunately, now I'm working on my 5th album, and I'm far away from the Breaking days. But there's skeletons in a lot of people's closets in this business. So you got to start out. You can't just always come out and do exactly what you want to do off the top.
You got to start somewhere. Thank you, Jamal. And we'll talk to Allison calling from Brooklyn, New York. Hey, Allison, what's your question today?
I was wondering, when you play under the name Body Count, do you do the Ice-T rap act with that?
On this last tour, yes, and on Lollapalooza I did. This last tour I would come out and do an hour Ice-T show, then walk up the stage and come back and do an hour Body Count show. So I was on the stage 2 hours, and sometimes I would do that twice a night. When we go out at the end of summer with Metallica, not Metallica, we're going out with Megadeth. It will be a straight Body Count show. And when I went out with PE, I do straight Ice-T. So you have to really read what it is. Is it Ice-T or a Body Count? I'm trying to separate them. It's easier on my vocal cords to do one show a night, you know. But it works with 2 shows, and that's even cool too. You know, I like it. Yeah.
It's incredible. Thank you, Allison. And Tim, how are you today? Calling from Tampa, Florida.
How you doing, Martha?
Pretty good. What's your question?
All right. So I want to know, I checked you out when you came to Tampa and played at the Ritz, and it was a killer show. And I noticed there was like almost like all white people in the crowd. And I was wondering like how you felt about it, like if you liked it or just cool people showed up or what.
Yeah, we don't really care who shows up, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if I were to do a show tomorrow and, you know, some spaceships landed and Martians came in and bought all the tickets first, then I would play to a Martian audience and they would jump off. As long as they stage dive and slam and threw their hands in the air, I wouldn't care. I don't really see race. I'm beyond that as far as my audience. I went out on tour with PE and we played predominantly white audience. Then I'll flip around and play to an all-black audience. I think it has more to do with how it's promoted and which magazines and where the venue is actually located versus who shows up for what show, musical-wise.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Rockline. That was it. Pretty painless, right?
Yeah, sure.
Not too bad.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
It is. So you're going to have a little bit of time off and then you go out with Megadeth?
Yeah, we're just going to kick it around L.A.
Yeah, right now I'm doing my album. I have to cut the Ice-T album, institutionalized, so that we have to stop for a little while so I can do a new album, a rap album.
And the movie.
And then I got another movie that's coming out called Looters, me and Ice Cube did, and it'll be out July the 4th. And then they have another movie for me to start.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for coming by. Next week, our guest, Weird Al Yankovic. Do join us. We'll see you then.
Smells like Nirvana.
Yeah.